Good afternoon, students. Today we are going to discuss about fermenter configuration and design. What is a fermenter? A fermenter is a vessel in which we carry out the synthesis of a desired product using microorganisms. So it is a vessel in which sterile nutrient medium and pure culture of microorganisms are mixed, and fermentation process is carried out under aseptic and optimum condition. The vessel provides sterile environment and optimum conditions that are necessary for the growth of microorganisms and necessary for the synthesis of the desired product. Okay, so the fermenter should be constructed in such a way that it makes provision for various activities that are important while carrying out a fermentation or while producing a desired product. What are the provisions that should be there in the fermenter vessel when it is constructed, which we have to take care of? Sterilization of the vessel should be possible. It should be possible to control the temperature throughout the fermentation run. It should be possible to control the temperature, pH, foam, aeration and agitation devices should be there. There should be a sampling point, inoculation points for microorganism, addition point for media and supplementary nutrients. There should be a drainage point for drainage of fermented media, harvesting the product, that means harvest line should be there, cleaning should be possible. Cleaning of the vessel should be possible. There should be facility for providing hot, cold water and sterile compressed air. So a fermenter, while designing a fermenter, we need to take care of all these aspects. Right. So if you look at this fermentation vessel, you can see there is a motor. To the motor is attached a rod that is called as a shaft. To the shaft are the impeller blades. These impeller blades help in agitation mixing. Okay, then there is an air filter through which filtered air is passed through the air sparger. This ring is a ring sparger through which air is introduced into the fermentation vessel. Okay, then there is provision for pH control. There is a pH recorder which records the pH, and if there is any fluctuation in pH, there is an acid-base reservoir. There is an acid-base reservoir through which we can add either acid or alkali to maintain the pH. There is a temperature recorder which continuously records the temperature, and if the temperature goes up, it can be reduced by circulating through, these are the jackets through which hot or cold water can be circulated. Okay, there is a harvest line through which we can harvest the finished product. There is a point from where you can add nutrients inside the fermentation vessel. Okay. So all these provisions or all these things need to be taken care of while designing a fermenter. Now let us discuss about the general features of an ideal fermentation vessel, or what are the features that we need while designing a fermenter. Number one is fabrication material. Fabrication material is the material from which the fermenter is constructed. The material from which we manufacture the fermenter should be strong enough to withstand the pressure that develops inside the vessel because of the fermentation media and gases. Okay, so the media, the fabrication material should be strong enough to withstand the high pressure that develops because of fermentation media and gases. At the same time, the fabrication material should be non-corrosive and non-toxic to the microorganism as well as non-toxic to the fermentation medium. Now, the nature of the material that is selected for constructing the vessel depends upon the particular type of fermentation. Say for example, if we are producing beer or wine or ale or lactic acid, we prefer using wooden tanks. Okay. So, the construction material depends upon the type of fermentation or the type of product that we are producing. The fabrication material or materials used for lining includes copper, stainless steel, iron, glass. So these are the various fabrication material used for lining the fermentation vessel. Right. The next things which we need in a fermenter are: the fermenter should permit easy control of contaminating microorganisms. It should be easy for us to control the contamination. That means the fermenter, once the fermentation starts, the fermenter should be sealed. No outside air or microorganism should enter inside which can contaminate the process. So, it should permit easy control of contaminating microorganisms. The fermenter vessel should be provided with a inoculation point from where you can add inoculum. So through the inoculum point, aseptically we add the inoculum, that means we add the culture of microorganisms. The tank should be provided with aerating device. The aerating device or aerator is generally an air sparger. If your fermentation is a aerobic fermentation and constant supply of air is needed, then the tank should be provided with an air sparger to aerate the medium. Okay, for the uniform distribution of air, nutrients and microbes, the fermenter should be provided with a stirring device which is called as agitator or impeller. So there should be air sparger to add the air inside, and to mix the nutrients, air and microorganism, we need a mixing device which is called as agitator. The tank should be equipped with baffles. Okay, baffle walls should be provided inside the vessel to avoid vortex formation, to break the bubbles that form during agitation or during rapid mixing of the medium. The bubbles that develop, the vortex that develop should be broken. That is why we need baffle walls inside, from the inside of the tank. Okay, the fermenter should possess a sampling valve. Okay, so once we open the sample valve, withdrawal of sample should be possible. So in between the fermentation run, we will open the sampling valve, collect the small amount of fermented sample and perform various laboratory testing. So sampling point should be there. There should be provision to control the pH. There should be a auto titrator. The fermentation vessel is attached to an auto titrator. Okay, so auto titrator actually is a device which automatically adds acid or alkali depending upon the pH fluctuation. If the pH goes down or up, then we can add alkali or acid to maintain the pH. At the same time, the vessel, there should be a provision for temperature control also. Temperature control is achieved by water jackets that are present around the vessel. And through the water jackets, we can circulate cold or hot water to maintain the temperature. There should be provision in the tank for intermittent addition of antifoam agents and for adding certain media components that are required during the course of fermentation. So intermittent addition of certain nutrients is required in some fermentations like penicillin production, or we need to add antifoam agents if the media contains protein and during agitation foam is formed. So to control the foam, to suppress the foam, we need to add antifoam agent. So there should be a provision, there should be a line from where you can add antifoam agents or you can add nutrients. Right. The fermenter vessel should possess a drain at the bottom for removal of completed fermentation broth for further processing. Okay, so there should be a harvest line at the bottom, there should be a drain at the bottom from where we can remove the fermented broth and then product recovery can be done further by further processing. The fermentation vessel or the fermenter should be provided with a manhole at the top. Manhole is a large hole or large opening through which personals can enter inside the fermentation vessel, so that cleaning of the fermentation, the cleaning of the fermenter, repairing of the fermenter is possible, right? So there should be a manhole at the top so that there should be access inside the vessel for different purposes, so that the workers can enter inside the vessel, clean the vessel or repair the vessel if needed. Okay. Most of the time it is desirable that an additional inoculum or seed tank, small size fermentation tank. There is a small tank which we call as seed tank. Seed tank is a vessel in which we develop inoculum. Broth culture of microorganisms is present. Okay, so there should be an additional seed tank in which inoculum is produced and then the inoculum is directly added inside the fermenter without extensive piping. Okay, so if there is too much of pipeline in the fermentation industry, then chances of contamination increase. Okay, so if we have a seed tank besides the main fermentation vessel containing sufficient quantity of inoculum, then the inoculum can be directly added into the fermentation vessel without extensive piping, okay, which will reduce the contamination. Some means also must be provided for sterilization of medium and sterilization of antiform agents. Okay, so nutrient medium that is added into the vessel should be sterile, of course. So there should be provision for sterilization of nutrient medium or raw materials. There should be provision for sterilization of antifoam agents. At the same time, there should be proper provision that the fermenter itself should be sterilized before starting any fermentation. Okay, so all these things need to be taken care of while designing a fermentation vessel, while designing a fermenter. So we have here a fermenter. So you can see here pH controller. You can see pH controller, okay, which it is a pH probe which tells the pH inside the vessel. Then there is an auto titrator where there is acid base reservoir, and any fluctuation in pH is controlled by the auto titrator. It will either add acid or alkali depending upon the requirement. So you can pass steam inside if needed to sterilize the fermentation vessel. There is a viewing point from which we can view inside. Then okay, there is a motor which drives the shaft. This is a shaft having impeller blades. It moves and mixes the content in the fermenter. So the motor driven impeller for mixing. Then there are, in the blue color, these are the jacketed walls through which we can circulate hot water or cold water to maintain the temperature inside. Okay, so external cooling, you can add cold water from here inside. There is a provision to pass sterile air. Air is first passed through air filter, it is sterilized, and then it goes through the air sparger. This is an air sparger having holes through which air enters inside. And all the air that enters inside from the bottom of the tank through the sparger is mixed by the air sparger. By the agitator. The agitator moves and mixes the air, nutrients, everything. Okay. At the bottom there is a harvest line through which we can collect the fermented broth. So this is all about the design of a fermentation vessel. Now, looking at the size of the fermentation vessel. Fermenters are available in various sizes. Okay. The size of the vessel is usually stated on the basis of total volume capacity of the fermenter. Like if I say the fermenter is of 5 liter capacity or 10 liter capacity, then I am talking about the total volume capacity of the fermenter. But the working capacity, the operating volume is always less than the total volume because head space must be left at the top of the fermenter. Okay, so if it is a 5 liter tank, then we can fill it only with 3 liter of medium. Okay, empty space called as head space must be left at the top of the fermenter above the liquid medium, so that when we are mixing, there is foaming, there is aeration, there is splashing. Okay, so to allow space for splashing, foaming, aeration, mixing, a head space and empty space must always be there above the liquid medium. So the actual volume capacity and the working volume capacity is different. Okay. The head space occupies 1/5 or 1/4 of the fermenter volume. Now, depending upon the size, we have various types of fermenters. Okay, number one is laboratory scale fermenter. It is the smallest type of fermentation vessel. The capacity of this lab scale fermenter is just 1 to 2 liter up to and maximum up to 12 to 15 liters. It is used for research and development process. When we are studying a new process, when we are working on a newly discovered process, then we first study under laboratory scale. We study the process in the laboratory using a laboratory scale fermenter. So it's a small fermenter where we can carry out research and development. Lab scale fermenter is used to determine what are the optimum conditions required for the growth and synthesis, growth of microorganism and synthesis of the desired product. So actually we optimize the process, we optimize the requirements of the fermentation in the laboratory scale fermenter. So it is having a very small capacity of 1 to 2 liter or maximum up to 12 to 15 liter. Then the second type of fermenter depending upon the capacity is pilot plant fermenter. So it's a large fermenter. So its large scale studies are carried out in this pilot plant fermenter. The minimum size is 25 to 100 gallons and maximum size is up to 2000 gallons. Okay. So it's a large fermenter of 25 to 100 gallons or maximum up to 2000 gallons, and it is a large fermenter where we can carry out industrial production. The third type of fermenter is large or industrial fermenter. It is used in fermentation industries, okay, to synthesize commercially important products. The minimum size of large fermenter is 5000 to 10,000 gallons and maximum up to 1 lakh gallons. We can fill the medium up to 1 lakh gallons. Now there are still large fermenters, but they are not generally used, having a total volume capacity of 2,50,000 to 5 lakh gallons, but they are not generally used. They are specially spherical in shape. So depending upon the size, we have 3 types of fermenters: small scale laboratory fermenters, pilot plant fermenters, and large scale industrial fermenters. Okay. So that is all about the fermenter configuration and design. Next time we will study all the equipment